We go on into the arts this morning with composer Osvaldo Golijov. Osvaldo Golijov was raised in an Eastern European Jewish household in La Plata, Argentina, surrounded by chamber music, Jewish liturgical and klezmer music, and the new tango of that time. And from there went on to quite remarkable accomplishments. He studied with some of the most prominent contemporary classical composers in Argentina, Israel, and the United States. His compositions blend classical forms with rhythms and melodies from other musical traditions in a fresh, powerful style. It's been called volatile. It is definitely label-defying. In the year 2000, his Grammy-nominated premiere performance of the St. Mark Passion received a 20-minute standing ovation in Stuttgart when it was performed as part of the European Music Festival to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the death of Johann Sebastian Bach. The following year, that piece premiered in the United States with the Boston Symphony Orchestra. He says of Boston, "I love the human quality of Boston. It's an absolutely great city for music." In 2002, he came out with his CD of chamber music, Yiddishbbuk. Was nominated for 2 Grammy Awards. He's been the recipient of many awards. The MacArthur Grant, the awards given by New York's Lincoln Center, Washington's Kennedy Center, the Guggenheim Foundation, the National Endowment for the Arts. He is an associate professor at the College of the Holy Cross in Worcester and on the faculty of the Boston Conservatory and the Tanglewood Music Center. Please join me in welcoming Osvaldo Golijov.
Thank you. I will tell you a little bit about the last piece I wrote in March and hopefully about the next piece. I was looking for texts for a piece based on folk songs, simply because I love folk songs and it was a piece. The idea came from Carnegie Hall to commission a piece to accompany a beautiful set of folk songs that a great composer called Luciano Berio had composed 40 years ago. And I say this also to tell you that in music many times we look to the past as well as to the future. And I was looking for inspiration in Spain because of the rich mix of cultures that it has. I mean, one possibility would be to go all over the world, but it's better, I think, to constrain yourself to an area. And I found lyrics that I loved. I didn't have music for them, but I found in a book of Sephardic ballads the following poem that it's a ballad that I want to read to you. It says, in the morning of St. John's Day, Moors and Christians went to war. They were warring, they were dying, 500 on each side. Rondale, Admiral of the Seas, was taken captive. His sword broke, and in the middle of the battle, he found himself in prison and started to cry. The princess heard him from the heights of her castle. "Don't cry, Rondale, don't harm yourself. I'll give you 100 gold marks and whatever else you want. You'll marry me, my vineyards, and my brooks." Hey, may bad fire burn your vineyards, your brooks, and your homes. I have a wife in Paris, and that's the one I marry. When the princess heard this, she had him killed. So I love this because it relates to many things. I mean, yesterday, listening to the other speakers, first of all, it reminded me of the beginning of Juan Enriquez's presentation when he showed the manuscripts, the Arabic manuscripts. Second, of course, it's reading almost like the newspaper today. Page 1, the same word, and then immediately you flip to page 15 and you go to the gossip pages. So. But anyways, on a deeper level, I feel that Spain, as Mr. Enriquez pointed yesterday, was a place that showed how civilizations can coexist and what happens when they don't coexist anymore. What I also loved about his talk is how the battle between fundamentalism and inclusiveness is not us against them, but roles of societies can change very quickly. I mean, a country or a civilization that is very inclusive can, in a second, become very intolerant. And anyways, Spain is a case in point. It was a great experiment and failed, and that's. I was interested always in this, especially I wrote last year an opera on Federico García Lorca, the great Spanish poet, who pointed out the decline of Spain with the expulsion of both Moors and Jews. Anyways, another big question that Tom Ashbrook pointed yesterday was this conflict between social despair and technology. I mean, there is a possibility of great beauty in our world, but also this tension. And I ask myself, where is music in this equation? I think we will hear later on today from my friend Todd McCover about what music can do for the in terms of technology. And today you will hear a little bit from me about the relationship with the heart, or even with the past and with these social tensions. My personal history, once again, I don't know why, it's in the three places where I live, Argentina, Jerusalem, and now here. I mean, I saw in Argentina a beautiful civilized society being torn apart, brother against brother, and with thousands of killings and so forth because of intolerance. I witnessed in Jerusalem the same. Harmony turned into chaos, and I think that we today we don't know. I think that our own society is not the same. I mean, we thought we lived in a certain world before September 11, and now we realize that the world can go there, but can go there too. So I wonder if it's the world or if it's me. Every place I go, I ruin it. So. Anyways, so with these questions in mind, I looked to this, to more of this kind of lyrics that came from Spain in the era where the three civilizations, Arab, Jewish, and Christian, coexisted. And I asked, what makes the music different? I mean, I like to, I always like to walk the boundaries between cultures, and in this case, well, I have these three cultures, and I tried to do as little as possible to switch from Arab to Jewish to Christian, and with no hidden agenda. I don't write songs with morals, so to speak, but it is a really almost like a great curiosity. In a piece that I will play to you, I did something pretty extreme. Usually you think, okay, well, to switch this from Jewish to Arab, you change this note in this scale, or you change this rhythm, or you put a different chord. Here, what I did, what I realized, is that by just changing the inflection on the singer's voice, you can say, and with exactly the same notes, same rhythm, same harmony, etc., you can be completely Christian, how you will hear it the first time, and completely Arabic the second time when you will hear the voice. It's a little bit, it reminds me of what we saw yesterday with the robot Kismet, how you respond, or he responded, or she, or it, to not to the words, but to the inflections of the voice. And to me, that's something really fascinating. Also because I grew up listening to music that I loved without understanding what it was about, like Schubert or the Beatles. I knew when they were happy or sad just because of the rhythm or the inflection, and not because I understood what they were saying. So let's listen to a song. I'll read you. The lyrics are very simple. It's a Christian Arab song from Easter that I heard in an old record from Lebanon. And basically the lyrics say, my love, what is the sin of our times and our children? These wounds have no cure. What I did is and once again, it's this idea of connecting the old with the new. I created an introduction with an accordion, which is this very vilified instrument that I love. But it's a modified accordion with two pedals that create a massiveness of sound and also an instability. So, in one of the characteristics of the accordion, if you go tino, 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 you stay there. But with the pedals, you go tino, nino, nino, no, no, so it creates this. I wanted to write an introduction that would be like what I call collective pain, which is rather different than singing of individual pain. And then there is a fast section where I have a very Jewish clarinet in trio with the symphonic horn and the accordion again, creating what I call almost like an angry Arab market, And I have a rhythm created, played by a laptop, but the sounds come from kitchen instruments like pots and pans. And then comes the first, the entrance of the voice, and you will hear what I call the quote-unquote Christian delivery of the song. Then, once again, the fast part, just to separate, And then the same song, almost untouched, in what I call, quote-unquote, the Arabic version. Then the fast part again, and then at the end, while I was writing the song, I heard, and I will not name in which radio station here in Boston because I don't want to get sued, but I heard this a piece of news with a funeral in Palestine, and I heard this tremendous angry mob of tens of thousands of people. And I thought that it was like, it just came out of the song very naturally when I kind of recorded that and played it through. So that's what you will hear, and the accordion becomes a police car. So in a way, this song is a mirror of, even if the lyrics are hundreds of years old and the music has old things in it, it's a mirror of today. So it's a little long, but I hope you don't get bored. Let's listen, please, to that track. instrumentation of the piece has these instruments that I told you, plus a little Argentinian guitar, which is the beautiful just because factor that we artists can allow ourselves, like we have heard before. Just because I like it, and because I come from Argentina. But you know, in the arts, sometimes the innovation, or most of the time, it's unpredictable. I mean, you just think of jazz or of rap, or there is a beautiful also example in Uruguay, my next door country, where a group from Spain came at the turn of the last century to perform a dance from Carnival called the Murga. And they said, we'll come back next year, but then they never came back again. So the Uruguayans had to recreate by memory what they had heard and created something completely different, but wonderful. So I think I'm simply repeating what we have heard before. Just you have to have your eyes open and trust the combination of theory, of thinking, of planning, but also of being completely alert, and know that, you know, that perhaps the function of art is different than the function of science sometimes, in the sense that, Ray Kurzweil can live to be 200, but that will not spare him from, or any of us who lived 200 or 300 years of unrequited love, you know. I mean, there will be a song always for that. And unless, I mean, there is, but then seriously, the question is, if you are immortal, then you can always have 50 more years to get the girl. So, you know, it's like, so the future of love songs is in danger. Anyways, in any case, what I like the idea that what I read in Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks. I mean, Leonardo as a scientist shaped the world. But as an artist, he said, the artist should be a mirror of the universe. And I like that. I mean, the variety of today's world, I mean, we see it in Boston, in other great cities, is a richness unparalleled. And if the art can be a mirror of that variety, and then I think it's a pretty wonderful function. I'll stop here. Thank you.